Chapter 1. The City, Hidden Beneath the Rainforest. Journey into one of the world's most fascinating mysteries. Far from modern civilization, far from highways and crowded cities, deep beneath a vast rainforest, there may be the remains of an ancient city, a city forgotten by history, a city hidden by nature. For centuries, local legends spoke of stone ruins buried beneath endless forests. Travelers occasionally reported strange structures deep within the jungle, massive stone walls, ancient staircases, and carved monuments slowly disappearing beneath vines and roots. Many dismissed these stories as myths, but the jungle kept its secrets well. Year after year, century after century, the forest continued to grow. Towering trees rose above ancient buildings, roots wrapped around stone temples, and thick vegetation concealed nearly every trace of the civilization that once existed there. Then modern researchers arrived, using advanced technology. They scanned the landscape from above. What they discovered shocked the archaeological world. Hidden beneath the dense rainforest canopy were signs of roads, large plazas, massive structures, and entire networks of settlements connected across vast distances. What appeared to be untouched wilderness was once home to thousands of people, perhaps tens of thousands. A thriving civilization had existed here. Yet one mystery remained. Why had it vanished? No one knows for certain. Some researchers believe environmental changes weakened the city. Others suspect disease, conflict, or prolonged drought. Perhaps several disasters occurred over many generations, slowly forcing people to leave their homes behind. As darkness settles over the rainforest and distant sounds echo through the trees, the forgotten city remains hidden beneath the jungle, silent, patient, waiting for its story to be uncovered. As researchers continued exploring the hidden city, new discoveries began to emerge from beneath the rainforest. What first appeared to be a few isolated ruins soon revealed something much larger. Ancient roads stretched through the jungle, connecting distant settlements. Large stone plazas appeared beneath the trees, and evidence suggested that thousands of people once lived throughout the region. The civilization was far more advanced than many had imagined. Farmers carefully managed the surrounding landscape. Water systems helped support growing communities. Skilled builders constructed temples and monuments designed to endure for generations. Life flourished here for centuries. Children played in the plazas. Merchants traveled along stone roads, and ceremonies took place beneath towering structures that still stand today. Yet despite its success, the city eventually fell silent. The reasons remain uncertain. Some researchers believe changing weather patterns may have disrupted agriculture. Others suggest that disease spread through the population. There may have been conflicts or shortages of resources. Perhaps several challenges occurred at the same time, gradually weakening the civilization. Families began to leave, buildings were abandoned, and nature slowly reclaimed what people had built. Trees grew through stone courtyards, roots pushed between ancient walls, The rainforest expanded year after year until the city disappeared from view. For centuries, the ruins remained hidden, protected beneath layers of vegetation, waiting quietly for discovery. Today, researchers continue studying the site. Each new survey reveals additional structures, additional roads, and additional clues about the people who once lived there. Yet many questions remain unanswered. Who were they? What language did they speak? What stories did they tell beneath the stars? And why did such a remarkable city vanish from history? As night settles over the rainforest and mist drifts between ancient trees, the forgotten city remains where it has rested for centuries, hidden beneath the jungle canopy, silent beneath the roots. A reminder that some of history's greatest mysteries are not lost forever. They are simply waiting to be found. Chapter 2: The Mountain That Hums in the Night. Tonight, our journey takes us far from the hidden rainforest to a remote mountain range, a place where silence should dominate the landscape. Yet when darkness arrives, something unusual begins to happen. A deep sound echoes through the night, a low humming vibration, steady, mysterious, and difficult to explain. For generations, people living near the mountain have reported hearing strange noises after sunset. Some describe the sound as a distant engine. Others compare it to a giant musical instrument hidden somewhere beneath the earth. The hum often appears without warning, sometimes lasting only a few moments, sometimes continuing for hours. The strange phenomenon has puzzled residents, travelers, and researchers alike. What makes the mystery even more unusual is that not everyone can hear it on the same night, in the same location. Some people clearly hear the hum, while others hear nothing at all. Scientists have investigated numerous possibilities: underground geological activity, hidden cave systems, atmospheric vibrations, even distant industrial sounds carried by unusual weather conditions. Yet no single explanation has fully solved the mystery. The mountain continues to guard its secret. Adding to the mystery are stories passed down through generations. Local legends speak of hidden chambers deep beneath the mountain, ancient tunnels, forgotten structures, and places where strange sounds have echoed for centuries. Some believe the hum originates from deep underground, from places few people have ever seen. Others think the sound is created by natural forces interacting in a rare and unusual way. As evening falls and shadows stretch across the rocky slopes, the mountain appears calm, peaceful, unchanging. Yet somewhere within the darkness, the mysterious hum may begin once again. A sound without a clear source, a mystery without a simple answer, waiting quietly beneath the stars. As researchers continued investigating the mysterious mountain, the hum remained as elusive as ever. Specialized instruments were placed throughout the region. Sensors monitored vibrations beneath the ground. Microphones recorded sounds carried by the wind. Scientists hoped that careful observation would finally reveal the source of the phenomenon. Yet the results only deepened the mystery. On some nights, the hum appeared clearly in recordings. On other nights, it vanished completely. Sometimes the sound seemed to move, shifting from one part of the mountain to another, as though it were traveling through hidden passages beneath the earth. The unpredictability made the mystery difficult to solve. Local residents shared stories that stretched back generations. Many claimed their grandparents had heard the same sound decades earlier, long before modern roads, long before power lines crossed the landscape. The reports were surprisingly consistent. A deep vibration, low and steady, often occurring during calm evenings, particularly when the air was still. Some researchers believe unusual geological formations may play a role. The mountain contains layers of rock shaped by immense forces over millions of years. Hidden caves and underground chambers may amplify natural vibrations, creating sounds that occasionally become audible above the surface. Others point toward atmospheric conditions, temperature changes, air pressure shifts, and subtle interactions between wind and terrain. Yet even these theories fail to explain every report. The mystery remains incomplete, and perhaps that is what makes it so fascinating. Not every question has an immediate answer. Some mysteries continue for generations, inviting curiosity, exploration, and wonder. As midnight approaches and moonlight washes across the silent mountain slopes, the forest grows quiet, the wind slows, the stars shine overhead, and somewhere in the darkness, a faint hum may once again emerge, a sound heard by some, missed by others, a secret hidden within stone and shadow, waiting patiently for the day its true origin is finally understood. Until then, the mountain keeps its mystery, silent by day, mysterious by night, and forever linked to one of the most unusual sounds ever reported in the wilderness. Chapter 3: The Desert Doorway of Stone. Tonight, our journey takes us far from the mountains, far from forests and hidden cities, into a vast desert where endless sand stretches toward the horizon. By day, the landscape appears empty, silent, almost timeless, but hidden among the rocky formations stands something unusual, a massive stone doorway carved into an isolated cliff face, standing alone in the desert, with no obvious explanation. For generations, travelers have reported seeing the strange formation. From a distance, it appears remarkably artificial. Its shape resembles a giant entrance, as though it once led into a hidden chamber beyond the rock. Some believe it is simply a natural formation, a result of wind and erosion slowly shaping the stone over thousands of years. Others are not so certain. The doorway's proportions seem unusually symmetrical, its edges surprisingly defined, its appearance strikingly different from the surrounding landscape. As stories spread, the formation became the subject of local legends. Some claimed it was built by an ancient civilization. Others believed it marked the entrance to forgotten tunnels buried beneath the desert. According to certain tales, strange lights have occasionally been seen near the doorway after sunset. Small glowing shapes moving silently across the sand, appearing briefly before disappearing once again into darkness. Researchers have visited the site many times, photographing the formation, studying the surrounding terrain, searching for evidence that might explain its origin. Yet the mystery remains. No hidden chambers have been confirmed. No lost city has been discovered nearby. And still, the doorway continues to attract attention. As the evening sun sinks below the horizon and long shadows stretch across the desert floor, the stone doorway stands alone, silent against the fading light, guarding whatever secrets the desert may still hold, waiting patiently beneath the stars. As interest in the mysterious stone doorway grew, more visitors began making the long journey across the desert. Some arrived out of curiosity. Others came hoping to solve the mystery themselves. Standing before the enormous formation, many described the same feeling, a sense that the doorway did not quite belong. Its shape seemed too deliberate, too precise, as though it had been placed there for a purpose long forgotten. Researchers carefully examined the surrounding area. They searched for tools, fragments of pottery, ancient carvings, anything that might connect the structure to a lost civilization. Occasionally, small discoveries were made, weathered stone fragments, unusual markings, traces of human activity from centuries ago. Yet none provided a complete explanation. The mystery endured. Adding to the intrigue were reports from travelers who spent nights near the formation. Some claimed to hear faint sounds carried by the wind. Others spoke of strange lights appearing briefly along the horizon. Most of these stories remain unverified, but they continue to fuel the legends surrounding the doorway. One theory suggests the formation may have served as a landmark, a navigation point for ancient travelers crossing the desert, visible from great distances, guiding people through an otherwise featureless landscape. Another theory proposes that the doorway was once part of a much larger structure, a temple, a ceremonial site, or perhaps the entrance to a settlement now buried beneath the sand. If so, the desert may still conceal much of the story. For deserts are remarkable keepers of secrets. Year after year, wind reshapes the landscape, covering some clues, revealing others. What is hidden today may emerge tomorrow, and what is visible now may vanish once again beneath drifting dunes. As night deepens and countless stars appear above the silent desert, the stone doorway remains exactly where it has stood for generations, watching over an empty landscape, its true purpose unknown, its origins uncertain. A silent monument to one of the desert's enduring mysteries, and perhaps somewhere beneath the surrounding sands, answers still wait to be discovered. Chapter 4: The Lake That Reflects the Wrong Sky. Tonight, our journey leads us to a remote lake hidden far from towns and cities, a place surrounded by silent forests, ancient hills, and still waters that appear perfectly calm. At first glance, the lake seems ordinary, beautiful, peaceful, untouched by time. But according to local stories, something unusual happens here. Something that has puzzled visitors for generations. On certain evenings when the air is perfectly still and the sun has nearly disappeared beyond the horizon, the lake's reflection begins to change. People describe seeing clouds that are not present above them, stars appearing in the water before they appear in the sky, and strange colors moving across the surface without explanation. Some witnesses claim the lake reflects a completely different sky, a sky that should not exist. For centuries, these reports were dismissed as misunderstandings, optical illusions, mist, or unusual weather conditions. Yet the stories continued, passed from one generation to another. Travelers camped along the shoreline hoping to witness the phenomenon themselves. Some waited for days, others for weeks. Most saw nothing unusual, but a few returned with stories they never forgot. They spoke of reflections that moved independently from the clouds above, of distant lights visible only in the water, and of moments when the lake appeared to show a different world entirely. Researchers have visited the area many times, bringing cameras, scientific instruments, and weather monitoring equipment. Some unusual reflections have been documented, yet no single explanation has satisfied everyone. The mystery remains. As evening approaches and the surface of the lake becomes perfectly smooth, the surrounding forest grows quiet. The last birds return to their nests, the wind disappears, and the water becomes like glass, waiting, reflecting, and perhaps preparing to reveal one of its oldest secrets. As interest in the mysterious lake continued to grow, more researchers arrived, hoping to understand the strange reports. They studied the water, the surrounding landscape, and the atmosphere above the lake. Many believed that a scientific explanation would eventually solve the mystery. Yet the deeper they investigated, the more unusual the stories became. Some visitors described seeing stars reflected in the lake long before darkness fully arrived. Others reported watching clouds drift across the water while the sky above remained completely clear. A few even claimed that distant mountains appeared in the reflection despite being nowhere near the lake itself. Most of these experiences were brief, lasting only a few moments, then disappearing without warning. Researchers proposed several theories. Perhaps unusual layers of air occasionally bent light in unexpected ways. Perhaps rare atmospheric conditions created mirages, or perhaps the calm surface of the lake amplified natural optical effects rarely noticed elsewhere. While these explanations may account for some sightings, they do not explain every report. The mystery remains incomplete. And perhaps that is why the lake continues to fascinate those who visit it. There is something timeless about standing beside perfectly still water, watching the final light of day fade across the horizon, wondering whether the reflection before you is showing the world as it truly is, or something else entirely. As years passed, the legends surrounding the lake only grew stronger. Stories were shared around campfires, whispered among travelers, and passed from one generation to the next. Each witness adding another piece to the mystery, whether the phenomenon is caused by nature, by rare atmospheric conditions, or by something not yet fully understood. No one can say with certainty. As night settles across the forest and stars slowly appear overhead, the lake becomes silent once more, its surface smooth as glass, its secrets hidden beneath darkness, reflecting the heavens above, or perhaps reflecting something far beyond them. And somewhere within the still waters, the mystery continues, waiting for the next observer, waiting for the next reflection, waiting for the next question that is yet to be answered. Chapter 5. The Cave of Endless Echoes, or voice script. Tonight, our journey takes us beneath the earth, far below the forests, far below the mountains, into a cave hidden deep within a remote wilderness. At first, the cave appears like many others, a narrow entrance, cool air flowing from the darkness, and silence stretching far into the underground passages. Yet this cave holds a mystery unlike any other. For generations, explorers have reported hearing echoes that should not exist, sounds that continue long after they should have faded away. Whispers returning from the darkness minutes later, footsteps repeating themselves from unseen chambers, and strange echoes that seem to answer one another deep within the cave. Local legends tell stories of travelers who entered the cavern centuries ago. Many spoke of hearing distant voices, not clear enough to understand but distinct enough to notice. Some believed the sounds came from hidden passages. Others thought they were hearing reflections from parts of the cave yet to be discovered. Over the years, scientists and explorers attempted to solve the mystery. The cave was mapped, measured, and carefully studied. Researchers discovered a vast network of tunnels extending deep underground. Some passages connected to enormous chambers. Others disappeared into narrow cracks within the rock. The deeper the cave system extended, the stranger the acoustics became. A single sound could travel remarkable distances, bouncing from wall to wall, twisting through unseen tunnels, returning from unexpected directions. Yet even these explanations failed to account for every report. Visitors continued describing unusual experiences, echoes arriving too late, sounds seeming to originate from impossible locations, and moments when the cave appeared almost alive with distant voices. As darkness settles outside and the entrance fades into shadow, the underground world grows silent. The air becomes still. The cave waits patiently beneath the earth, its endless passages hidden from view, its mysteries concealed within stone and darkness. And somewhere far below, an echo may still be traveling through the ancient tunnels, searching for a place to finally come to rest. As researchers continued their exploration of the mysterious cave, they discovered that the deeper passages behaved very differently from the entrance chambers. Sounds traveled in unusual ways. A quiet whisper could sometimes be heard far away, while a loud shout might vanish almost immediately. The underground maze seemed to follow rules that were difficult to predict. Some explorers performed simple experiments. Standing in separate chambers, they would clap their hands and listen carefully. Often, the echoes returned from unexpected directions, sometimes from above, sometimes from below. and occasionally from tunnels that appeared completely disconnected from the original sound. These strange acoustic effects became one of the cave's greatest mysteries. Over time, local legends grew even more fascinating. Stories spoke of hidden chambers buried beyond collapsed passages, ancient rooms untouched for centuries, places where sounds never truly disappeared. According to some tales, certain echoes could linger within the cave for extraordinary lengths of time, passing through tunnels and chambers before finally returning. Whether these stories were true or not, they captured the imagination of everyone who visited. Scientists proposed several explanations. The cave's immense size, its complex network of passages, and the unique shapes of its chambers could create rare acoustic phenomena. Sound waves might bounce repeatedly through the underground system, creating the illusion of distant voices or delayed echoes. Yet even with modern equipment, some reports remain difficult to explain completely. The cave continues to surprise those who enter, and perhaps that is why it remains so intriguing. Beneath the surface of the earth lies a hidden world, a place shaped over countless ages, filled with darkness, silence, and mysteries waiting to be explored. As midnight approaches and the wilderness above grows quiet, the cave remains unchanged. Ancient stone walls stand in darkness. Underground rivers continue their slow journey, and faint echoes drift through unseen corridors, traveling through chambers carved by time itself. A reminder that some mysteries do not need answers to remain fascinating. They simply need to be heard. And somewhere deep within the endless tunnels, another echo begins its journey through the darkness. Chapter 6: The Island That Appears Once a Year. Part 1: Voice Script. Tonight, our journey takes us far across the ocean, beyond busy shipping routes, beyond familiar coastlines, to a place surrounded by endless water, a place that, according to local legends, should not exist. For most of the year, there is nothing to see, only waves rolling across the sea, only wind moving across the water. Yet on one particular period each year, something remarkable happens. An island appears, rising from the ocean as if emerging from another world. For generations, sailors have told stories of this mysterious island. Some described seeing rocky cliffs where open water had existed only days before. Others reported small forests appearing on land that seemed impossible. Many who witnessed it struggled to explain what they had seen. The island's appearance was often brief, sometimes lasting days, sometimes only a few hours. Then, just as mysteriously, it would disappear once again, returning beneath the sea. Local fishermen passed these stories from one generation to the next. Many claimed their grandparents had witnessed the same phenomenon, long before modern navigation, long before satellite imagery. The mystery became part of local folklore. Researchers eventually became interested in the reports. Could an island truly appear and disappear? Some scientists suggested underwater volcanic activity. Others proposed shifting sandbanks hidden beneath the ocean surface. Powerful tides might occasionally reveal land normally concealed underwater. These explanations sounded reasonable, yet not every report fit the theories. Witnesses consistently described features that seemed too complex: rock formations, vegetation, and even traces of old stone structures, as though the island possessed a history of its own, a history hidden beneath the waves. As evening settles over the ocean and the horizon glows with fading sunlight, the sea appears calm, silent, endless. Yet somewhere beneath the surface, the mysterious island may already be waiting, preparing for its brief return to the world above. As researchers continued investigating the mysterious island, they discovered that the story stretched back much further than anyone expected. Old journals, ancient maps, and weathered records from sailors centuries ago all seem to mention a strange land appearing briefly in the sea. The descriptions varied, but certain details appeared again and again: rocky cliffs, dense vegetation, and an island that seemed impossible to find twice in exactly the same place. Some explorers spent years searching for it, following old routes across the ocean, comparing historical accounts, waiting for the season when the island was most often reported. Many returned empty-handed. Others claimed they caught only a brief glimpse before fog swallowed the horizon. One expedition reported seeing unusual stone formations near the shoreline, massive blocks arranged in patterns that appeared almost artificial. The sighting lasted only a short time before rough weather forced the crew to leave. When they returned months later, nothing remained. Only open water stretched before them. The mystery deepened. Scientists continued developing theories. Perhaps powerful tides occasionally revealed land hidden beneath the surface. Perhaps underwater geological activity slowly raised and lowered parts of the seabed. Or perhaps rare combinations of weather, fog, and light created illusions that fooled even experienced sailors. Each theory explained part of the mystery, but none explained everything. And so the legend endured, year after year, generation after generation. The ocean continued keeping its secret. As darkness settles across the sea and moonlight dances upon the waves, the horizon appears empty. The water stretches endlessly in every direction, calm, silent, timeless. Yet somewhere beyond the darkness, beneath shifting currents and hidden depths, the mysterious island may still exist, waiting for the right season, waiting for the right tide, waiting for the next traveler fortunate enough to witness its return. And until that day arrives, the island remains one of the ocean's most enduring mysteries, appearing, disappearing, and leaving behind more questions than answers. Chapter 7: The Buried Temple of the Moon. Tonight, our journey takes us into a forgotten desert valley, a place rarely visited, a place where the wind slowly moves across ancient sands, and where, according to legend, an extraordinary temple lies hidden beneath the earth. For centuries, travelers passing through the valley reported unusual stone fragments emerging from the sand, pieces of carved pillars, broken statues, and mysterious symbols, unlike anything found nearby. Most people assumed these remains belonged to a long-forgotten settlement, but local stories suggested something much larger. They spoke of a magnificent temple of the moon, a sacred place built by an ancient civilization thousands of years ago. According to legend, the temple was constructed to observe the night sky. Its builders carefully aligned walls, corridors, and chambers with the movements of the moon. On certain nights, moonlight was said to pass through narrow openings and illuminate hidden rooms deep within the structure. The stories fascinated explorers, yet finding the temple proved nearly impossible. The desert had spent centuries covering its secrets. Powerful winds reshaped the landscape year after year. Sand dunes moved constantly, burying old landmarks, revealing new ones. Many expeditions searched the valley. Most found very little. A few discovered fragments of ancient stonework, but the temple itself remained hidden. Then came a remarkable discovery. Researchers using ground scanning technology detected unusual shapes beneath the desert floor. Long, straight walls, large chambers, and what appeared to be the foundations of a massive structure. The evidence suggested that something enormous was buried below, something ancient, something waiting to be uncovered. As sunset paints the desert in shades of gold and orange, the valley grows quiet, the wind softens, the shadows lengthen, and beneath the shifting sands, the forgotten temple rests exactly where it has remained for centuries, hidden from the world, guarded by time, and waiting for its story to be told. As researchers continued studying the hidden structure beneath the desert, new discoveries began to emerge from the sand. Carefully, slowly, patiently, each layer removed revealed another piece of the mystery. Stone staircases appeared, leading downward into darkness. Massive walls emerged from beneath centuries of drifting sand, and intricate carvings covered surfaces that had not seen sunlight for thousands of years. The carvings were remarkable. Many depicted phases of the moon, crescents, half moons, and full moons surrounded by stars. Some showed figures observing the night sky. Others appeared to record celestial events, long forgotten by history. The deeper researchers explored, the more impressive the temple became. Long corridors extended beneath the desert floor. Hidden chambers connected distant sections of the structure, and enormous stone columns supported ceilings that had survived countless centuries. One particular chamber attracted special attention. Located near the center of the complex, it contained a narrow opening in the ceiling. At first, the feature seemed insignificant, but during a full moon, something extraordinary occurred. Moonlight entered through the opening, traveling through the darkness and illuminating a specific stone altar in the center of the room. The alignment was astonishing, precise, deliberate, and likely planned by the temple's builders long ago. The discovery suggested that astronomy played an important role in the civilization that created the temple. They carefully observed the heavens, tracked celestial movements, and incorporated this knowledge into their architecture. Yet many questions remained unanswered. Who built the temple? What ceremonies took place within its halls? Why was it eventually abandoned? And how did such an enormous structure become completely buried beneath the desert? No one knows for certain. Perhaps changing climates transformed the region, perhaps trade routes shifted elsewhere, or perhaps the civilization slowly faded into history, leaving only stone and legend behind. As night settles across the desert valley and the full moon rises above the dunes, the ancient temple stands once more beneath silver light, partially uncovered, partially hidden, its secrets still protected by time. And somewhere within its silent chambers, the story of its builders waits patiently to be discovered. Chapter 8: The Forest Where Time Feels Different. Tonight, our journey takes us into a forest unlike any other. A forest so old that some of its trees were already ancient when the first explorers arrived. A place of towering trunks, endless green shadows, and quiet paths that seem to stretch forever. At first glance, nothing appears unusual. Birds sing among the branches, wind moves gently through the leaves, sunlight filters through the canopy above. Yet for centuries, visitors have reported a strange feeling after entering the forest, a feeling that time behaves differently here. Some travelers claimed they spent only a few minutes walking among the trees, yet when they returned home, hours had passed. Others described the opposite experience. Entire afternoons seemed to vanish in what felt like only moments. Stories like these were often dismissed as exaggerations. After all, dense forests can be confusing places. Without clear landmarks, it is easy to lose track of time. Yet the reports continued. Generation after generation, explorers, hunters, researchers, and hikers all shared surprisingly similar experiences. Many described an unusual silence deep within the forest, a silence so complete that even their own footsteps seemed distant. Others spoke of a strange calmness, as though the outside world had faded away, leaving only the forest behind. Some local legends tell of hidden clearings where time flows differently, places where sunlight lingers longer than expected, and where shadows move in unusual ways. No evidence has ever confirmed these stories, yet they remain part of the forest's enduring mystery. Researchers have attempted to study the phenomenon, monitoring weather conditions, tracking movement, and recording environmental changes. While natural explanations account for many experiences, not every report has been fully understood. And perhaps that is why the mystery remains so fascinating. As evening settles across the forest and golden light fades between the ancient trees, the woodland grows quiet. The paths disappear into shadow. The air becomes still. And somewhere deep within the endless forest, the mystery of time continues, waiting patiently beneath the leaves. As researchers spent more time studying the mysterious forest, they began collecting stories from those who had ventured deep beneath its canopy. The accounts were surprisingly similar. Many visitors described losing track of time, not because they forgot to check a clock, but because time itself seemed strangely difficult to sense. Hours felt like minutes, minutes felt like hours, and the deeper they traveled into the forest, the stronger the sensation became. Some hikers reported entering the woods shortly after sunrise, only to discover that evening had already arrived when they emerged. Others believed they had spent an entire afternoon exploring, yet their watches suggested far less time had passed. Most researchers believe these experiences can be explained by natural causes. The forest creates a world unlike ordinary environments. Dense vegetation blocks distant views. The canopy softens sunlight, and familiar signs of passing time become harder to notice. Without busy streets, without clocks, and without the distractions of daily life, the human mind may experience time differently. Yet even with these explanations, the stories remain fascinating. One of the most famous legends tells of a hidden clearing deep within the forest, a place rarely found, and even more rarely found twice. According to local folklore, those who enter the clearing experience an unusual sense of stillness. The wind becomes silent, birds stop singing, and the forest appears frozen in a single moment. Whether such a place truly exists remains unknown. Many have searched for it, few claim to have found it, and none have provided evidence that fully confirms the story. Still, the legend survives, passed from one generation to another, like so many mysteries before it. Perhaps that is part of the forest's enduring charm. Not every mystery needs a final answer. Sometimes the questions themselves are enough. As midnight approaches and moonlight filters through the branches above, the ancient forest becomes quiet once more. Shadows stretch across forgotten trails. Mist drifts slowly between enormous trees. And somewhere beyond sight, the mystery continues. A place where time feels different. A place where the modern world seems far away, and a place where wonder still lives among the leaves. Chapter 9: The Lost Road. Across the sea. Tonight, our journey takes us to the edge of the ocean, a place where waves roll endlessly toward the horizon, a place where, according to ancient stories, a remarkable road once crossed the sea itself. Not a bridge, not a modern causeway, but a stone pathway stretching across shallow waters, connecting distant lands long ago. For generations, fishermen and sailors have shared tales of unusual stone formations beneath the surface. On exceptionally calm days, some claimed they could see straight lines extending through the water, lines that appeared far too regular to be natural. At low tide, portions of these formations occasionally became visible. Rows of weathered stones, sections of what looked like an ancient roadway, and fragments of structures now claimed by the sea. Most people dismissed these stories as natural rock formations. The ocean is full of strange landscapes, and nature often creates patterns that seem artificial. Yet the legends continued. Ancient maps from the region occasionally depicted a route crossing the water. Old records spoke of travelers moving between lands that are now separated by sea. Some stories even described merchants transporting goods along the route centuries before it vanished. Researchers became increasingly interested. Marine surveys were conducted. Sonar equipment scanned the seabed. Divers explored areas where unusual formations had been reported. What they discovered was fascinating. Beneath layers of sand and marine growth were long stretches of aligned stone. Some sections appeared remarkably straight. Others seemed connected to larger structures now hidden beneath the water. Whether these formations were entirely natural or partly constructed remains uncertain. The mystery continues. As the sun slowly sinks toward the horizon and golden light dances across the waves, the ocean appears peaceful, timeless. Yet beneath the surface may rest the remains of a forgotten road, a pathway lost to history, waiting patiently beneath the sea. As researchers continued exploring the mysterious roadway beneath the sea, more questions began to emerge. The aligned stones stretched farther than anyone had expected. In some places, the formations disappeared beneath thick layers of sand. In others, they continued into deeper water where visibility became limited. Divers carefully documented every section they could find. Photographs were taken, measurements were recorded, maps were created. Yet the mystery remained unsolved. Some sections appeared surprisingly organized. Large stone blocks rested beside one another in long, continuous lines. Certain areas even resembled intersections or gathering places. If these features were created by nature, they represented an extraordinary coincidence. If they were built by people, they suggested a level of engineering far older than anyone expected. The debate continues today. Geologists point to natural processes that can produce remarkably regular formations. Over thousands of years, volcanic activity, erosion, and shifting coastlines can create patterns that appear artificial. Archaeologists, however, remain intrigued by the possibility that human hands may have shaped part of the structure. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere between the two. Nature creating the foundation, people later adapting it for travel. The ocean keeps its answers hidden beneath waves and currents, beneath layers of sand slowly moving across the seabed. For centuries, storms have swept across the region. Sea levels have changed, and entire landscapes have disappeared beneath the water. What was once dry land may now rest far below the surface. As evening fades into night and moonlight reflects across the calm sea, the ancient road remains hidden beneath the waves. Silent, forgotten, yet still present. A pathway connecting the past to the present. A reminder that history often survives in unexpected places. And somewhere below the dark water, the lost road continues its journey, stretching toward a destination that time has long since forgotten. Chapter 10. The Forgotten City. Beneath the ice tonight, our final journey takes us to one of the coldest and most remote places on Earth. A land of endless ice, frozen mountains, and ancient glaciers stretching far beyond the horizon. For thousands of years, this frozen wilderness appeared untouched, silent beneath snow and ice. Yet hidden deep below the frozen surface, researchers believe traces of a forgotten city may exist. The mystery began when unusual shapes appeared in satellite images, straight lines, geometric patterns, and structures that seemed strangely organized. At first, many dismissed the observations. Ice can create unusual formations. Nature often produces patterns that appear artificial, Yet the discoveries continued. New surveys revealed additional anomalies beneath the frozen landscape. Some researchers proposed that long ago, before the climate changed, this region may have been very different. Warmer, more hospitable, a place where people could have lived and built settlements. Over time, temperatures fell, glaciers expanded, and whatever existed there became trapped beneath layers of ice. For centuries, perhaps even millennia, the frozen world kept its secrets hidden. Modern technology has allowed scientists to see farther beneath the surface than ever before. Using radar and advanced imaging systems, they can detect features buried deep below the ice. Some of these discoveries remain difficult to explain. Long walls, large rectangular formations, and shapes that appear surprisingly regular. Whether they are natural formations or evidence of ancient human activity remains uncertain. Yet the possibility continues to capture imaginations around the world. As pale sunlight reflects across endless snowfields and icy winds drift across the landscape, the frozen wilderness appears empty. But beneath the ice, the mystery remains. Silent, waiting, preserved by time itself. As researchers continued studying the mysterious formations beneath the ice, the frozen landscape slowly began revealing more of its secrets. Advanced radar surveys expanded across vast regions, scanning deeper than ever before. The images that returned were fascinating. Beneath layers of ancient ice appeared long ridges, large geometric shapes, and patterns unlike those usually created by nature. Scientists approached the discoveries with caution. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Many natural processes can produce surprisingly organized formations. Glaciers move, ice shifts, rock fractures over time. Yet some of the shapes continued attracting attention, particularly those that appeared unusually symmetrical. The mystery sparked debates among researchers around the world. Some believed the formations represented nothing more than geological structures hidden beneath the ice. Others wondered whether traces of a forgotten settlement might truly exist below, a reminder of a distant age when climates were different and landscapes looked nothing like they do today. Whatever the answer may be, one fact remains certain. The frozen regions of our planet still contain countless mysteries. Many areas remain unexplored. Many discoveries remain hidden, waiting beneath snow, ice, and time itself. Perhaps future generations will uncover more clues. Perhaps new technologies will reveal details impossible to detect today. Until then, the mystery endures, silent beneath the frozen wilderness, protected by glaciers that have stood for thousands of years. As darkness settles over the icy landscape, the northern lights begin to dance across the sky. Green, blue, and silver waves of light moving slowly above the frozen world. The wind softens, the stars appear, and the ancient city beneath the ice remains exactly where it has always been, hidden, patient, waiting for its story to be told. A final mystery in a world still filled with wonder.